Thanks for coming, everybody. It's always great to see you all. We have our Worldwide Rally for Freedom Mackay meeting at 10 o'clock every Saturday morning at Blue Water Quay. Come on down and join us. We speak about current affairs in our local community, our state and our country. And Lord knows there's plenty to talk about. But we only have a short time every Saturday morning, and we enjoy getting together to discuss these things and educate each other about what's happening. We just don't stand up here and preach to you what we know. You come back to us and tell us what you know too. And that's the beauty of this group. Everybody has information from their own experiences and their own lives that is important to each and every one of us and can help us. So today I want to talk about baby Samuel. I'm sure you've all heard about baby Samuel. He's a baby that was born alive during an abortion in the Townsville Hospital. So a whistleblower up at the Townsville Hospital contacted Dr. Joanna Howe, who is a anti-abortion activist from South Australia. She's a lawyer, a doctor. I'm sure everybody knows who she is. And if you don't, Dr. Joanna Howe, Howe, look up her stance on abortion and what she does and what she fights for, and the lives that she fights for on that stance in her work. So this whistleblower had to expose what was happening at the Townsville General Hospital, Townsville Base Hospital, whatever it's called, from first-hand knowledge of what happened to this little baby. And they passed it on to Dr. Joanna Howe. So she's taken it and she's exposed the whole situation about this poor little baby. In abortion procedures, if they're born alive, they are left to die with no help. They are left to die with no help. And this is what they wanted to expose. So our Premier, instead of trying to find out what was happening at the Townsville General Hospital, he launched a, investigation into who the whistleblower was at Townsville General Hospital. So obviously they don't care about the actual fact that a little baby born alive through an abortion was treated in this manner. He's more interested in who the whistleblower was that let the people know that this was happening. That is unbelievable, unbelievable. And baby Samuel's not the only one that this happens to. There's something like, one every week or something, just like that in Queensland. I don't know the stats. I do know the stats, but I'll talk about that later, I think. The Premier David Crisafulli stated when he was at the election that he had no intention of debating the abortion issue in Queensland Parliament in his term. And he stands by this. He'll put a gag order on the Parliament, a gag order on our members of Parliament who are elected by the people to debate the issue of abortion in Queensland. And the other day, our local state member of Parliament, Nigel Dalton, he crossed the floor to vote against that gag order in his conscientious belief that it was not right. Interview that he had with Dr. Joanna Howe, where he apologised for the length of time it's taken, because he has been really been affected by this, because he believes that God exists. He believes in God, and he believes that God would not want this to be happening. So good on you, Nigel Dalton, for standing up and making your beliefs heard against your party's principles. Very low principles, I might add. But yes, good on you, Nigel Dalton, and I wish more of our elected parliamentarians could do the same on so many issues that we're struggling with in our cities, our state and our country. So there's so much more on that. Joanna Howe called a rally last Monday at the front of Parliament House in Brisbane. Thousands of people as far as the eye could see. None of this was reported on mainstream media, of course, but if you go on her website and follow her, you will see just what she's achieving and the amount of people that are following her and agree with her. Amanda Stoker is another MP. She actually stood up at pro-life rallies and supported their ideology for pro-life. She actually you can see her statements on Dr. Joanna Ho's Facebook page too. But in Parliament, it was a different story. She stood back and and said nothing. We need to break that, people. We need to stand up. The people need to stand up. Write letters to your MPs. Write letters to your councillors. When the elections come around, vote them out. Do not vote for them. Go and speak to people like, Senator. Oh well, he's not a senator anymore, or he still is. Senator Rennick. People like that have principles and stand for them. I'm not advocating any particular politician, but I'm just saying there are politicians out there or people that want to make a difference that don't bow to the party lines. And we need those people to take over. They need to run our country at what country we've got left. Our country is being crippled by the governments that are in control and have been in control for decades. What we need to do is vote them out. Vote for people that want to stand up for our people, ourselves, for the people of Australia. Vote for people that want a future for our children. Vote for people that want medical facilities that work for the people, not create the diseases and the issues that they have in their health. We want police that are there to support us, to protect us. We want so much, and none of this is happening. So just remember that, Dr. Joanna Howe, she's an amazing woman. She's only small, but she's got a loud voice and a very big following. And she's there to protect these young children, these babies. They're born alive. They're aborted because for some reason their parents just don't want them anymore. But they are still human beings. They are human beings. And that's right. They get payment from the government, $4,255, I think, I could be wrong, something to that effect, for every abortion that is after 20 weeks. 20 weeks plus abortion for any reason, they get paid by the federal government, $4,255. You go and you tell me, what does that make people do? You tell me. I can see what's happening. The abortions are getting more and more, but the thing is, the children, the babies from these abortions are getting less and less. They are human beings. They deserve the right to at least be euthanized, or whatever you want to call it, humanely, if there's something wrong with them. A baby 16 weeks old can be brought to full term with the facilities we have, with the knowledge we have, with the science we have. We've seen it time and again where young, 16-week or 12-week preemie babies are kept alive and grow into normal children. It's not impossible, but it is impossible when they're left to die on a petri dish in the back corner of a kitchen in a hospital ward. And this is what we don't want in our country. And we want a Premier that wants to stand up and stop that, wants to stand up and bring it out into the public arena and stop it. I think Joanna has a petition going that you can ask for the gag order to be lifted in the Parliament too. I'll have to look that up for you. That each and every one of us could sign. What I've read and what I believe myself is, where are our churches in all of this? Where are the churches that are supposed to be spreading the word of God amongst their followers? And I'm sure that God would never have expected in all his glory that human beings, babies, are treated in this manner. Where are the churches that preached God's word? Why are they not standing up for the moral, the legal, the lawful, the spiritual issue here? of these actions being taken against these unborn babies. They don't want to make themselves out in the open speak out about this matter. And it's not their matter, it's not their choice. They're supposed to be spreading the word of God. It's God's words that need to be heard here. And this needs to be brought out into the open, and we need to act on it before any more babies are murdered, because that's what it is. It's not an abortion, it's not a life-saving or getting rid of a child that has something wrong with it. It's not if it's got the wrong gender that you want. It's not that you've got too many children. It's not about that at all. It's about doing the right thing to a human being while it is alive. Another thing I wanted to talk to you today, I was listening to Michael Gray-Griffith. Now everybody should know Michael. He's been travelling around our country ever since COVID started. He's spoken to everybody that you could imagine on the ground, people living their lives with the issues that they individually have. Policies of our governments. That's all it is. It's the policies of our governments in the last, couple of decades, and even longer if you want to look back through that. But in the last even 10 years, our country is just going down into being a third world country. Our hospital systems are negligible, if they are there at all. We have police that can't attend to, even a police, you can't even call, a policeman anymore. You've got to go through like a process of, the 1300 number, wherever it is, to get to the police station, and then nobody follows it up. I've had personal experiences with this. Our education standard has slipped dramatically, yet, they want our children, they offer free childcare now, free childcare. Take your children as young as they can to indoctrinate them into their beliefs and their dealings and their protocols. Why are we letting our children go at 3 years old to be brought up by strangers? We should be bringing them up ourselves. A lot of people are. The number of homeschooling families that are existing now is just multiplying as we speak, because they realise what the children are being taught in the schools. They're taught nothing. They can't even do maths. They can't do basic maths. You go to any store that's got young people in it and give the price of your purchase is $12.40, and you give them a $20 note and $2.40, they can't even work out to give you a $10 note back. They say, oh no, you've given me too much money. I could do any maths thing you wanted to throw at me, and I could do it in my head in seconds. It's not something I use all the time, but I have used it a lot in my working life. But no, these kids don't know how to spell. I try and play Boggle, a word game with my grandchildren, and they can't even make a word up with letters more than 4 words in the letter, 4 letters in the word. My children are lucky they've got a grandmother, and I'm sure a lot of other children are too, somebody that cares enough to teach them basic English and how to play Upwords and Monopoly and Boggle and Scrabble and, whatever. But no. Anyway, Michael Gray-Griffiths has spoken to a lot of people. He's had very interesting interviews with a lot of people. He even had an interview with teens recently, and that was to do with abortion. I'm pretty sure some of it was. And he was saying that we've noticed a lot of Indian people are taking over businesses, small businesses in our towns. And it's not just happening here, it's happening all across Australia in the small regional towns. They come in and they buy the businesses off the people because they are struggling. People with businesses, small businesses in our regional towns and small cities are struggling with the government's policies to try and run a business. These Indian people come in, and they offer to buy the businesses for twice, sometimes twice, the value of the business to secure the sale. And I can understand, I'm not judging anybody that sells their business on that basis, because the constant battle of running a small business, I've been there myself, is grueling sometimes. It's mentally and physically grueling. I can understand people taking the option if they're handed the money and sometimes the money is part cash. So that's always a little bit of a incentive, isn't it? But where does that incentive come from? But anyway, to sell their businesses. Now, I was under the impression that the federal government was funding these purchases, but according to Michael Griffiths, with his investigations and speaking to a lot of people, Indians themselves that have bought the businesses, the funding is coming from the Indian government or Indian business. So it's not even coming from Australian government. This is very, very scary, because I thought foreign business was under control in our country. Ownership of our businesses by foreign entities had some sort of control on it in our country. And we'll be looking further into this, because this has only just come to light, this instance. India is just starting to do this, but China has been doing it for years on a much larger scale than small businesses in regional towns. China has been doing this, buying up our land, businesses, private properties, housings, the Port of Darwin. How strategic is that? So, you know, we're in a lot of trouble here, people. We're in a lot of trouble. We need to stand up and stop it. Like I said, the only way is these issues are coming thick and fast against us all, against the little people, the you and I. There's an example. There's an example of what our communities become. Kids on motorbikes, unlicensed, young children, young boys, riding through the traffic on public roads, public footpaths, and creating havoc within the community. Follow Michael Griffiths. You'll find a lot of information that's from the ground, from true people, from people that are actually going through these issues. And there's thousands of issues. So unfortunately, that's where we are in our country. We need to change these things, and the only way, like I said before, the only way we can change is by the people standing up and making them listen, making the governing people, the people that govern us, do what we, the people, want them to do.
The abortion issue is very important to a lot of Australians, and I've actually had my concerns about it greatly. When you can have an abortion up to the day before the birth of the child, it is great concern to a lot of Australians, and especially to see those children are still alive after an abortion and left to die without any help or assistance. What have we come to in this country? Where's our humanity? Why don't we actually look after that child then? Why don't we give it to those parents that want a child and can't have one? I think it's disgusting.